All eyes are on Salt Lake City, Utah for the first vice presidential debate happening tonight.
That's right. So joining us with a preview of what we can expect is CEO John Trescott. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Good morning.
All right, John, well, let's talk about this. We were talking about this even yesterday, that we feel like this vice presidential debate could be a much more civil one as opposed to what we saw a week ago.
I think you're absolutely right. I think, when we were on last week, I said, the candidate that going into this, really what they're trying to do is do no harm. That wasn't the case last week with the presidential debate. So I do think it will be much more civil. That's in Mike Pence's nature, to be very civil, very respectful, very straightforward, but also smart. So I would expect, we won't have those flare-ups back and forth.
And what role do you think everything that has happened over the last week, with the president getting COVID, what role is that going to play in this debate?
I don't really know. When you look at how fast this news cycle has turned, it was a week and a half ago that he nominated Judge Barrett to the Supreme Court. A little over a week and a half ago. It was last Monday when the New York Times tax story hit. That seems like eons ago now. And we've had so many things with the COVID diagnosis hit. I think what COVID has done is thrust in the spotlight that for the debate tonight, we could be looking at the next president of the United States. It has emphasized the age of both the president and Joe Biden and the vulnerabilities that they have, especially in a virus environment. So I think we really have to look at it that this could be the future of the country. And so therefore, I think people will look at this a little differently than they've looked at vice presidential debates in the past.
So in your opinion, John, what do you think these candidates have to say, or what do you think voters want to hear from them, especially in light of what you just mentioned?
Well, on the Democratic side with Harris, I still don't think, even though she was a primary candidate, I don't think people really knew her. She has to try to, Vice President Pence is going to pin her as ultra-liberal, more liberal than Bernie Sanders. She has to try to shed that image, which may be difficult because there will be some votes and issues that are brought up. The vice president has to recover from the damage that was done by the president in the debate last week, reaffirm people, let them be confident in the administration. It's a high bar given that, and the president will have to follow through if he can debate next week. So I think, this whole cycle has been different than anything we've ever faced. I think this vice presidential debate is different in the same way, in that it's much more important and has much more consequence to it.
Very interesting perspective. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
You're very welcome.